Come for the singing, stay for the news. Daggerheart. Daggerheart. Daggerheart, come and me want to go home. What's up, nerds? It's your boy, the OGG. I'm coming to you live from Site B around 8 o'clock in the morning here on the 9th day of May 2024. It is 53 degrees and hazy outside. I've had the beginnings of an allergy headache thing, so I think we're going to get some weather. It's time to take a look at what's going on in the exciting world of Critical Role / Daggerheart. Have they made it a week without anybody being angry at them? Let's find out. But first, the numbers. Since the last time we checked, there's only been one thing. There's been nothing up on the, let's see, 2 days ago. All right, we had Critical Role Campaign 3, episode 93 on the Twitch with 161K views. Ouch, that's painful for them. We had Critical Role update on Daggerheart 1.4 2 days ago with 16.1K views. And we had Four-Sided Dice episode 23 with 57K views. 57K views versus 16.1K views. More people were interested in them talking about what happened on an episode for 3 hours than they were for an hour of Matt and Steven talking about Daggerheart. Meanwhile, the episode with what's-her-name still in charge as the DM, the whole Crown Keepers thing, only got 161 views because I don't think anybody wants to see her as the DM. They want the story to be finished. Thankfully, I think Matt has taken back the reins and the Crown Keepers subplot is at least temporary over. And the Dorian or whatever his name is now maybe an official member of the crew. I don't know. Meanwhile, over in the Tube of Views, we had Interest Smith season 3 episode 12 with 18K views. Guys, it's not working. Stop. We had 219K views for Critical Role Campaign 3 episode 93. That's more like it. We had Liam O'Brien talking about Candle Obscura with 16K views. Guys, let it go. It was a mistake. Just move on. Stop trying to push Candle Obscura. We had Mitz season 3 episode 13 with 7.9K views. Guys, it's not working. Just stop. We had Four-Sided Dive episode 21 with 55K views. And we had Four-Sided Die episode 23 with them talking about For the Queen, that card board game they had with 19K views. Guys, I don't know if they just throw everything at the wall and see what works. Policy is working for you. I think you need to pull the chute and let some of this go, right? I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. The controversies this week for them? Thankfully, none. Apparently, I mean, other than the other lack of views and the general negative response the fan base had to the Switch, the general negative response the fan base had to the miniseries, and the general negative response that the fan base seems to have with them switching back to Matt running again. But on the good news, the guy who plays Dorian is at least now temporarily back and might be sticking around to the final, should there ever actually be a final to Campaign 3. But in regards to the Crown Keeper story arc and the upcoming final for Campaign 3, Matt Mercer has hinted, and that hint has been reaffirmed, that there might not be a happy ending for everybody at the end of Campaign 3, which, in my humble opinion, is how it should end. And I've gone over this before, but yeah, I think it either is, when it's finally 100% done, it probably needs to end on a cliffhanger or end on a very sour, the good guys lost note, because Campaign 4 should, after hopefully like a year-long break, deal with the aftermath, the devastating aftermath of Campaign 3, and explain, hopefully, their transition from 5e mechanics to Daggerheart mechanics for campaign 4. And the best way to do that is to, crib the Avatar trilogy. I mean, the Avatar trilogy was a horrible adventure, but it was a great way to explain why everything changed. All right, moving on to changes in Daggerheart, the rules set. There was a new playtest release on the 7th. Was mostly DM change stuff. This is all available on the website, link down below. Universal changes, they just basically clarifying the rules. Thank you. They changed advantage and disadvantage back to the previous D6 advantage and disadvantage. So roll dice, and if you had advantage, you add an extra D6. Roll dice. If you have disadvantage, you subtract an extra D6. Why change it? The advantage disadvantage mechanic is perfect. It is probably the best thing that came out of 5e. It literally removes 40 some of years of stressful wibbly wobbly. I don't really understand how that works mechanics. It's just so simple. There's no reason to change it. If you're doing really, really well, roll 2 times, take the better of the 2, and then add your bonuses. If you're doing really, really poorly, or you have an effect on you, roll 2 times, take the worst of the 2, plus whatever else negatives are involved in that, and then add your bonuses. So simple. Action rolls, they're continuing to add explanations to the action rolls because I guess people still don't really understand exactly how many actions do I get, how many tokens do I have to spend, how many tokens does the DM get, how many tokens can the DM spend, how many can I spend around, because it's a stupid mechanic. Will Daggerheart ever be able to stand on its own as a system? Or, a year from now, 2 years from now, am I going to walk into an FLGS or more likely an online universe and see people excited about playing Daggerheart? Or is it more likely just going to be a source book that people take stuff from? I don't like Daggerheart, but there's some cool ideas in it that I'm going to steal from my game. Unfortunately, I think that's its fate. I don't know if it's going to be able to stand on its own. But as something I can steal stuff from to bring into my game, I think there's a larger chance that's going to happen, unfortunately for them. But they have no one to blame but themselves. They changed Chapter 1, mostly some classes changes. Chapter 2, playing an adventure, how things work, why this rule is here, what this rule does, what does this mean, what does that mean, and playing the adventure, the DM tips, some changes to name, short swords now changed to another name, whatever. Then we have Chapter 3, running adventure, which is pretty much the same as playing an adventure. GM's dice, examples of GM's move. They've added back it's an option, but now the GMs can get a little bit more fear, but still the fear hope mechanic definitely still favors the PCs to the bad guys, and it still leaves the GM with that economy disadvantage. Once that hope mechanic starts rolling, it's going to keep rolling, and it's going to keep building and building on top of each other. And it's going to definitely, somebody figured out the math, and it was 75% hope, 50-something% fear, or something like that. I don't remember the exact, but basically, as is, the hope mechanic is definitely more likely to trigger than the fear mechanic. And that's before adding anything like feats or spells or anything else that might add more to the hope. Also, they, of course, added more stuff to the TPK and character death because they want you to play this game, but they want you to be safe playing this game. Chapter 4, they adjusted some of the adversaries, bad guys, whatever you want to call them. This bad guy that used to be a tier 2 bad guy is now a tier 1 bad guy. This tier 2 bad guy, we raised his stuff a little. This tier 3 bad guy, we adjust, whatever. Added some new rules for environments. Chapter 5, they didn't change. Chapter 6, they didn't change. The appendix didn't change. The cards, they once again changed again because I guess they're still not clear. An entire page worth of cards changed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 20 without, So is it just the cards aren't working? Is the cards aren't easy to understand? Is it just I still feel like I need to reference the book because the information on the cards doesn't answer every question? I'm going to go for 3. And I'll use the example of the spell cards from D&D or Pathfinder. So we know these cards exist and we know they describe the spell. Let's say, I don't know, web. I don't know why I said web, but sure, whatever, web. But they don't explain the entire spell. They explain the talking points, the things that are most important, not every single solitary aspect. So you can look at the card, but then there might still be situation-specific questions that the card doesn't explain. So inevitably, from my personal experience, your mileage may vary, when people had the cards, they inevitably still looked at the book, right? Still had to go through the book for the longer explanation, especially for more complicated spells. Now, Fireball, pretty much, I don't need to reference the book, right? That's a spell I know by heart. Magic Missile. But, more like concentration spells that have more possible uses, higher level spells with like a page worth of text in the book. Well, you can't fit that page worth of text on the card. So I would say from watching people use the cards from the other games that had the cards already, inevitably more likely you're still referencing the book. Daggerheart, probably the same. There's only so much information you can fit on that card, even if you use both sides. Inevitably, something's going to come up where somebody needs to reference the book, and that's probably the problem. I mean, the greater problem is, of course, what if I forgot my cards? What if I lost them? I didn't know we were playing today. I don't have my cards on me. Are you offering alternatives in the books so if I forgot the cards, I can still play my character? Or are the cards so important that without them, it sort of just goes bomb, bomb, bomb? Now, of course, this does open the possibility of a future app where you can just have all the cards on your phone and therefore not have to worry about it. And you bet your bottom dollar they've at least thought of that. And if they haven't yet, you can have that one, Matt Mercer. Here you go. An app that has all the Daggerheart cards on it that allows you to build your Daggerheart card deck for your character and easily reference it on your cell phone. That's got to be coming, right? Right? Not much less the whole card / token / personalized character record sheet market that should be bubbling up over at Etsy if it hasn't already, because that's literally free money. Oh, I'm going to create a deck of the cards themed to the Savant class. Oh, yeah? Well, really? I'm going to make a deck of cards themed to the Ember class, and they're going to glow in the dark. Screw you two. I'm going to make a deck of cards themed to the Techno class, and mine are on fire. I don't know how that works, but they're on fire. So yeah, I think that's probably a thing. Other than that, they made it an entire week without any controversy. Con season's coming up. Origins is just around the corner. So hopefully we'll see some more information regarding the future of Daggerheart and the fate of Illuminated Worlds. I think it's fair to say Candle Obscura is a failed experiment. And it's probably time just to admit that and move on. Let's revisit Illuminated Worlds and see what else we can do about it. Fine, you've pushed it past the point of no return. It's dead. It was dead months ago. You should have just let it die and moved on while the interest in Illuminated Worlds was still there. Now, I don't even know if anybody remembers they were even working on Illuminated Worlds besides me. Yeah. And I don't know if there's a market for another generic universal system. The only selling point it has was it was them. And they chose the absolute wrong genre to be the opening salvo in the Here's Illuminated Worlds advertising campaign. Absolutely wrong. And it was clear from day one, Candle Obscura was the wrong choice. They should have just let it die, but they did it. So in closing, if things don't change, I fear when and if Candle Obscura actually ever reaches the market, and whatever it looks like, because it certainly doesn't look like anything like that it did when they first released it, and it's obviously going to continue to mutate, most likely it will never stand on its own as a game unless Campaign 4 uses Daggerheart. More likely it's going to be I took some shit from it, but I don't use the entire thing. And people are going to be like, I didn't buy it because I don't want to run it. There was stuff I liked, but that was online, so I just cut and paste it. Right? Anybody disagree? Anyways, that's Dagger Heartbeats for me. If you want to check out the changes to the play test, the link's down below. I'm not going over it because I'm done. I'll do this weekly update until people get tired of it. But other than that, yeah, I don't see good high hopes for Daggerheart or Illuminated Worlds unless Critical Role makes a drastic change in the way they're doing things. And quite frankly, the individuals associated need to step away because, they just generate so much negative at this point in time that constantly putting yourself in the public's face isn't helping. You need to go away and give people a chance to calm down. But that's just my 2 cents. Let me know what you think on the topic. Till next time, you know who I am and you know what to do. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Buy my merch.